Bonjour and welcome to a well, I guess it's part of the French campaign, but this is something a little bit special. You, yes, you have been selected to take part in the
Bureau de Conception Maritime, Comité électoral.
thank you, Google Translate. Yeah, the Bureau of Maritime Design Election Committee. So you will get to vote on what you would like to see as the circa 1900 battleship design for the French Navy. We have a couple options here that I've made to the best of my abilities based on some drawings that Lorenzo Ferrari sent to me. This is the Joe, that name here, Battleship. Now, the real one had 10-inch guns as the swing turrets. That was not possible in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. These would only take up to 7-inch guns, so I just made them 7.9s and maxed out the length. But they should work. And we have 12-inch guns as the main guns here, singles. Now, by the time we get to the 1900s, I might have Mark II guns here. In the Shared Design Builder, I had Mark I's. So, the one I designed in the campaign probably won't be exactly like this, but this could potentially be the blueprint. So, decent armor, making use of that Citadel layer, now actually doing something. And okay firepower, though only with 2 main guns. But it's very small. 11,000 tons for a battleship in 1900 is on the small side. 117 million is also on the cheap side. So there are pros to this design, mainly being the size and the cost. Second option is a little bit bigger. If it just wants to load, here we go. The Charlemagne. 16,000 tons. We have a battleship of that size already being built. This is kind of similar to that. Again, limited to 7-inch guns on these sides here. But we get very good protection this time. It's a much more expensive battleship. 12-inch guns might be Mark IIs, so actually smaller physical turrets by the time we build it in the campaign. I had to mount the main tower backwards or the turret wouldn't fit. That may or may not be a problem with the Mark II turret. We'll see. So that is the second option. And let's see, third one would be this. Much bigger. Almost 22,000 tons. 12-inch guns again. Might be Mark IIs by the time we get to that point in the campaign. Not really based on anything directly, but kind of working with what's possible to build on that hull. We got lots of 6-inch secondaries. Could maybe do 7s instead. And again, decent armor. A bit less than the previous design on the belts, but still making use of that inner belt, doing things now. Also, quite expensive. So that is the third option. We're going to do the same thing for armored cruisers. I've got a couple designs made up for them as well, but that will probably be in a separate episode because I have not messed with the YouTube polling thing yet, and I'm not sure if you can do 2 polls on the same video. That's a new feature they've added. So those are the 3 options I've already made, some loosely based on real designs, and we're gonna do the 4th option right now. So let's design a battleship that I will later on try to replicate in the campaign. This is essentially a dreadnought, but as a pre-dreadnought. I think these towers here will only be available later on as refits. They don't seem to fit. It looks like they should fit, but there are some collision issues here with the hull. There are towers that fit though. But I'm not sure if this hull... I'll have to wait for a later date. This could be like an interim emergency, not really a dreadnought, but something pushed into service having to fight the dreadnoughts. Let's do this one instead. Yes, Battleship 5. Now, we're working under the assumption that we're going to get the Mark II 12-inch guns, which you see the Mark II 9-inch, quite a small size turret, but the Mark I 10, much, much bigger. How big are the 15s? Also pretty big. And they can't turn here. We can't do 15s on this. 13s being Mark 1s. They fit on this one. Do they fit back here? No problem. Right, we can do 13s. Not sure if we're going to get those to Mark II, so we'll have to see when we get there if we're going to use 13s or maybe 12.5 Mark IIs for this ship. Now, annoyingly, this main tower does not like clip into this platform back here. Not even the smallest one. But it's possible to turn them backwards. Like so. And that sort of works. Yes, that does sort of work. Can we do that with the biggest tower? Yes, actually. Okay, so the main tower is backwards. It's good that we can at least flip the towers. It doesn't seem to do anything for the secondary tower. Oh, it got flipped. There we go. Right. Magenta. I'll keep the 18 knot top speed. Yeah, this will be the 4th option. And I'm assuming I will have induced boilers by this point in the campaign. Got 11 funnel cap for this one. While the supposed large one is only 7.7. Well, it's 68 funnel cap. And we're going to do 4 funnels on this. Sure. Can I actually make the engine compartment smaller by doing that. No, it seems that, like... Come on. Has the same size. No matter what. Fine. It doesn't matter how much I spread out the funnels for looks. I think that looks good. Can't really use the space in between here for much anyway. Let's just build the rest of the ship and then worry about the secondaries. See what kind of weight constraints we have to work within. Thankfully, it's a pretty big ship. Stereoscopic, I think, actually. Less so for the long-range accuracy than for the shell splash interference, which in the early game is pretty bad, actually. Let's see, what kind of armor pen do we have to worry about here? At 5,000 meters, 15 inches of pen from a 13-inch gun. Deck pen, not really a big problem, but one has to assume the enemy will be using some pretty big guns as well. We do like so. Times 2.5. That's 12 plus 3, that's 15. That's 17,948. So it's a little bit lighter by making use of the Citadel layer instead of just using the main belt. But not much lighter, so... maybe I'll take a look at that in the params file. Because it's like just barely worth it using this inner belt instead of just packing on the main belt itself. Main deck, let's go 1. We can do 0.8 for an aft deck. We don't even need that. We can do 0.5. That should be more than enough to protect from high explosive plunging fire. And that should equal 1.5. So that's decent, decent deck pen, deck protection. Excuse me. So that's the main armor done. Let's look at secondaries. 7 Mark II, I'm pretty sure I will have by this point. Because I'm researching them, I've got them prioritized. And we're really, that's a lot of weight in secondary armament. I might want to maximize the bulkheads instead. Still need to armor up these. That's a lot of 7-inch guns, though. Do they turn mounted like this? No, they do not. So that puts a stop to that craziness. Well, we could assume that we're gonna get the Mark II 8-inch gun when we build this. But for now, Let's just go with the 7s. Yeah. There we go. I think that looks fine. Could also do single barrels. Maybe. They cannot be mounted, like, on top of there. What's the biggest I can mount on the upper platforms? 5s? Yes. Do that look good? I mean, it looks like this 5-inch gun should have some kind of, like, barbette under it. Like, sticking down, not just floating on top of this platform. It would be nice to have, like, a shielded, simple gun like that instead. 4? 4-inch. Because we can give them some armor. Yeah. Is it possible to put a barbette with something in between here? Even got them centered. That doesn't work. Not sure if the funnels are the ones in the way here. 2-inch singles. I think it's just a lost cause trying to put something in between those lifeboats. You there? You still work, right? Yeah. Right. And you're still happy. Up to a point. Casemates? Only 3-inch. For a big ship like this. We can put some of those there. Now those 7-inch guns. I like making them 7.5s. And a little bit lengthened. 9-kilometer range on those 7s. Get some more range out of these 13s as well. Which I assume might be Mark IIs by this time. Or, when time comes to build whatever ship we're building that you select for me to build, I think I would pick Mark II 12-inch over Mark I 13s. That will look better too, I think. These turrets are, like, visually a little bit oversized. And can we put armor on these 7-inch turrets, or no, overweight? Instantly overweight. Let's get rid of these casemates. If I make these 4-inch guns singles instead, they should be a little bit lighter. you get turned around. That's a little bit better. They would, of course, also need armor. There are things here I need to reduce. Evidently. To make things work. That kind of works. And we should have enough to add some armor to the 4-inch guns as well. There we go. .9 kilometer range for the 4-inch. Should keep some pesky torpedo boats at bay. And torpedoes. I'm hoping they won't explode and cause damage to my own ship. And I'll put the rest in armor for these 7-inch guns. 10.2. The most they can have. I wouldn't want them exploding. I think that's decent. Magenta. There we go. That is the 4th option. Magenta. Own design, not really based on anything in particular. 3rd option is the Patrie, which I think I started this out as a an attempt to build on based on something like a real design, but it ended up just becoming something else. Similar ship to Magenta, same hull, smaller main armament, a lot of secondary guns, but smaller. Lots of 6-inch guns. That is the 3rd option. The 2nd option is the Charlemagne, which is based on a real design, as close as I can make it. We had to make some trade-offs here because the game wouldn't let me do exactly what I wanted to do, but there it is. It's a little bit smaller, a little bit more reasonably priced. But it's well protected and it's got good main gun firepower. Secondary armament, not quite up to the level of the 3rd and 4th options, though. And the 1st option is this cute little dumpling of a ship. Which I wonder if that can be built almost right away. No, maybe not. I don't think I have this hull yet. So yeah, that's the 1st option. I will try to set up a poll that you can vote in. And it will be a little while in the campaign before I get to the point where building these becomes possible, I think. We're calling this the Navy expansion of 1900. So I think at the current time of recording, we're in 1894 or something. So I've got some time for the votes to trickle in. Next up, we're going to do the cruisers, but that's going to be in a separate video. Goodbye, and take care.